Hello, thank you for tuning in today. Again, another hoop shoe review with you. This is Bazookahoopz coming at you. Here we have a Chinese brand here for you today. We have the Ning Wave Weight 808-2s, and these are a real sleeper. I'm not 100% sure if everyone knows about these. I'm sure a lot of people do. These were my Kobe replacements back when Kobe's were not readily available, still aren't. Got back into hooping and I knew that Kobe's weren't going to be really obtainable. These were the first shoes that I got because the Kobe 9s were once my favorite. Maybe these could be yours too.
Hooper I am. I work out of the triple threat very often, hard cuts, side to side movements. I rely on my traction, step backs, fadeaways, hard drives.
Starting off with the colorway here we have the Dynasty colorway. The Dynasty colorway is real classic in my opinion. All white, gold accents all around the shoe. You really can't beat it. It's so classy. When I bought this shoe, only a certain amount of colorways were out in my size, so I decided to go with the Dynasty because it was either that or I think the Miami colorway that I had, and my buddy got those, so we didn't want the same colorway. We decided to switch them up. Swap the laces out on mine. I got some normal ones off Amazon, white with gold speckle, and these were a big change on the shoe for me actually. This helped with my lockdown. This helped with everything really on the shoe because the other ones were really cheap, thin Chinese laces. So yeah, these actually made a big deal, big difference maker. Huge fan of the gold accents here. We have a gold globe right on the front. We have nice gold accent. This is a different type of gold than around the rest of the shoe. This is a nice, like, actual looking gold color. If you move it around, it looks like it's nice and shiny. Same with here on the heel. We have a nice gold flame on there. It's got the window with the signature in it. Other side's got the window too, but I think the inside signature one looks a little cooler. Let me know if you guys dig this colorway or not. I'm a big fan of the gold touches, but not everyone likes white. Let me know. Starting off in the beginning of our category here, the reason I love this shoe so much, and here is the traction. Before we get down into the nitty gritty, the Kobe 9 traction was once the best traction of all time for me. Move over because we have a new sheriff in town. These guys are bangers. Let me tell you, if you're looking for traction, look no further than here. When I compare all my shoes, these are the shoes I compare it to because this traction is A1. Literally, it has stop on a dime features everywhere on the court. Anywhere you move, it's gonna have you stopping on a pinpoint needle, regardless of dust, regardless of the court. These have you covered. We have stars here, right on the top, right in the bottom. And it's basically just gonna radiate out through the whole entire shoe. And I don't think it's a traction pattern that does it. I believe it's the actual rubber of the shoe, and this rubber, whatever compound they're using, they need it on all shoes. If you like screechy shoes, these are Velociraptors ×3. Screeching like no other. These are amazing. Stopping on dust is really nice. This is stop on a dime. I rarely have to wipe, if ever. Honestly, just playing in these shoes is a dream because you don't even have to worry about the traction. You don't have to worry about any slip outs, any type of movement. If you stop, that is where you're going. Nothing but good things to say on this shoe. Let me know, you guys had this traction before. How do you rank the traction on the all-time traction? All the shoes get compared to this shoe. This is my first time in the traction category, but here we are. To 10 out of 10. Materials and containment here next, and this is something I noticed about the Chinese brands. Materials all over the shoe. There's really no rhyme or reason for some of the materials on where they're at, but they got them on here. We have the upper, a bunch of plastic meshing, goes almost all around the shoe on the upper. Screen mesh, nice and thin. Breathable, which is very nice, a screen door type looking shoe. And on the sides here, we have a big plastic piece on the side, and this is gonna be for your containment on your lateral movements, which is very nice. You don't feel it really when you're moving much. It's just there for your support. Inside, we have a nice thin type of plastic layer that's gonna be a little bit thicker as you get down, with a big rubber piece here on the heel. Not really sure what that does for you. I think it's more or less for decorations. But you're really locked in regardless of which way you move in the shoe. We have a plastic heel counter here on the back. Heel nice and locked in, nice and contained. DNA helix on it. Great containment in this shoe. I had no heel slippage. That's a complaint on this shoe, is the heel slippage. Once I changed out my laces for this shoe, This shoe was honestly locked down everywhere. I had no issues with it leaving my foot. It felt like it was glued on, an extension of my leg, which is really what I'm looking for. Only odd thing about this shoe, there's only one time I played in this shoe where I wasn't a big fan of the way the containment felt. I went on a really hard stop on my left side, side to side, and I don't know what it was, but my arch or something within my foot hit this plastic window. It hit something plastic and I felt it. I could feel it on my arch, and you know, after that practice for a few days I could feel it, and it wasn't like hurt or anything, but the more I walked around, like, you could feel it. It took some type of damage, but nothing where it like took me out or anything. But that's just something that's in the back of my head now when I'm doing really hard movements. We have a thin tongue all around, all the way to the bottom. It's just like mesh net material, and then making your way to the tongue. We have a really thin tongue. It provides, you know, the right amount of padding that you need. Anyone in the comments, let me know if you have made that transition in shoelaces, if you switched it, and if you have, if that made the lockdown better for you. Really great lockdown on this shoe. Big fan of it. The materials are a little questionable. They just have random pieces on the shoe just placed where I don't think they're really needed. Maybe it adds a little bit more weight to the shoe than what it needs. And you know, for that containment part, you know, on foot it feels really great, but I had that one issue where I stepped on my arch, which is in the back of my head. For that, I think of these a 8.5 out of 10. Next, we have the comfort, cushion, and bounce in these shoes here. Starting off here, we have a drop-in midsole with the shoe. We have the full-length cloud insole in here. I've tried the 808 Ultras, and they had the boom insole in there. And honestly, huge fan of the way these feel. And it's gonna be a rubbery type foam material to it. I've had other drop-ins like the Kobe's where it's more like a foam material. And this has more elasticity to it for sure. You can definitely tell that there's more bounce, more give back to this cushion than the Kobe's, because once you play in the Kobe's a while, it's a little dead, a little flat. It just molds to your foot. Versus these mold to your foot a little bit, and as well as gives you that energy return that you're looking for. This is just a low setup, you know, something with minimal cushion. These give you a nice return of energy as well as that cushion you're looking for. The shoes materials, you know, with the cushion wise, you can tell on the heel and the ankle, it's nice and padded. The more you get to the Achilles and heel area, it's definitely more padded than when you get to the ankle, but it's very minimal. The padding on the tongue, very minimal. You know, a minimal shoe really, except, you know, just a little bit of cushion on that heel, which is nice. The bounce on these shoes, it has bounce for sure. Just off the cushion alone. I mean, when you step in it, you can feel it, you know, give some energy back. But as far as the shoe having a mid plate that snaps you back, I mean, it has a plastic mid plate right here, but I'm not exactly sure how much it works for this shoe. It's very thin. You could tell it snaps a little bit, but you know, you can also tell by the way this bends. When you put the cushion back in there and then you snap it back, we have a little bit more torsion support, a little bit less flimsy, you know, just because that foam is a little bit more solid, a little bit more rubbery versus just a straight up foam. Close to the ground setup, this is something that I usually don't play in, but you know, I'm a huge fan of the way the shoe feels. Let me know if you guys prefer the cloud insole or the boom insole, just because of you know how I am now. I'm a little bit bigger, a little bit older, so I'm not looking for that low to the ground type explosive game, but you know, there's times where I am feeling that. So for that, I'm gonna have to go ahead and give these a 7 out of 10. Next, we have the sizing, fit, and weight on these. This is size 13, big foot shoe, rise up. Can't put the move-in soles in here because we have the drop-in midsole, but that's okay. Huge fan of the drop-in midsoles. It's the whole main reason I basically got this shoe to begin with, is because that drop-in midsole, the Kobe's had it, so I figured they have to be similar feeling, and to be honest, they really are. Huge fan of the way these feel. The fit on these, tiny bit long, just a tad, but the width is very odd. You know, the midfoot is fine, but the more I make my way up towards, you know, like my toes, my outer toes are definitely hitting the sidewall of that drop-in midsole. It's not anything too crazy, but it's something I do feel in this shoe. The way I play and the way I like my shoe, I like it wrapped around my foot nice and secure. And it's not anything that I hate, so I'm not gonna complain too much about it, but that is something that I do notice. Shoe's really snug on my foot. When I put it down, you can tell like how close it is, how thin it is, and you can really feel it on top of your foot. Really, there's not a whole lot of lacing going on right here for me when I play. But you know, it's just something you want to look out for, you know, maybe some people with some fatter feet or something like that. You might have to go up a little bit just because how tight and compact this is shoe all around when you put it on. The weight on these for a low top, these are definitely a little heavier than you'd expect. You know, in hand, Definitely heavier than some shoes that I own. So let's go ahead and see what they weigh up on the scale. And these shoes are gonna come out to 17.46 on the scale. 17.46, and that is surprising. I mean, this is a low top, quick to the ground shoe that you'd expect to be light, but I mean, this is pretty much on par with the MV1s. But for me, when I wear them, I don't really notice it too much. They're really bottom heavy, which is nice. The way I move, feel really stable, really nimble in the shoes. Nice wide base with rigor, so the weight doesn't bother me at all. I kind of like the weight on these. It's not too light, it's not too heavy. It feels nice and right on my foot. Just for the issues on that sizing, I mean, it's definitely a little tight in that toe box, the width wise, and you know, the top of my foot as well. So that's just something that I do notice. Let me know down below if weight is a big deal for you on the shoes, but for me, I'm not a big stickler on the weight. For that, I'm gonna have to mark it down just a tad. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these at a 7.5 out of 10. Next category, we have the clunkiness and playability on these shoes. And these shoes, let me tell you, I love them. They're not too clunky, but as you can tell, the back here, all rubber, especially when you make your way around, it's just rubber all around. It's a little clunky the way, you know, you run, but the way I play on my toes, on my forefoot quite a bit. I don't really notice them to be too clunky. And the way I move side to side, these keep up with me really well. It's not too clunky in my opinion, it's just right. Not much snap to the foot, which, you know, propels your foot forward. So that's just something you have to put down in consideration when, you know, you're comparing them to other shoes. You know, there's a bunch of other shoes that do give you that benefit, so that is something that these do not. But I mean, playability on these, regardless, I mean, close to the ground, traction is A1. Any movement you do, you know, these shoes are gonna provide it for you. You just might have to put a little bit more effort on it. Your feet might be a little more tired, close to the ground. Not a lot of torsion support. If you want something that moves with your foot pretty freely, I mean, this is a shoe that does it. It's got you covered in any direction. Really no issues with the playability at all. It's just more or less slightly clunky in my opinion. For, you know, not having that mid-foot torsion support as well, I'm gonna have to give these a 8.5 out of 10. So here we are at the total, and we are ending off here. These shoes are really nice. The traction for me is one of the most superior tractions I've ever had in my life. It's something I always look for in a shoe. Close to the court beast. I mean, if you're a guard that's quick, shifty, I mean, these are gonna provide you in every direction, every which way you can imagine. This was my Kobe replacement. Kobe 9s, Kobe 8s, Kobe 11s, you know, with those drop-in midsoles. They're all super priced, really ridiculous. Nike, what are you doing? Make these available. It's getting ridiculous on what you're making us do to get Kobe's. Let me know in the comments, you guys tired of Nike making this the way they are? I mean, come on, give us some Kobe's already. I mean, what are you doing? People want to hoop in them. They're one of the best hooping shoes you can get. So hey, I mean, shout out to Ning, you know, making a market for what's needed. You know, people like the drop-in midsole, so they wanted to come out with one. And let me tell you, they came out with a producer. These are 41.5 out of 50. Here we are at the end with the Weight 808-2s, and these come in at 4th place. And these are going to be strictly alone by themselves at 4th place. I'd recommend these to really anyone. Thank you for coming in today, Bazooka Hoopz. This is another hoop shoe review for you. I'm glad you're able to tune in. I'll have many other shoes coming out for you as we go. Likes and comments helping me out grow the channel. I'd really appreciate that. Till next time, I get you that next review. Bazooka Hoopz.